All right, so this radical DSA movement sweeping the Democratic Party is making its way to South Florida. Wow. Where DSA and Hassan Piker-backed candidate Oliver Larkin is challenging incumbent Jared Moskowitz for the Democratic nomination in Florida's 25th district, which is widely expected to be a toss-up in November. Now, Larkin shares a lot in common with other extreme socialist DSA members, including, of course, a passionate hatred of Israel. The similarities, extend far beyond that. If Oliver Larkin had his way, well, there would be Medicare for all, no more electoral college, automatic same-day voter registration, an immediate shift away from fossil fuels, public ownership of the fossil fuel infrastructure. He supports abolishing and prosecuting ICE, free public college and universities, an end to the Iranian sanctions, an end to the embargo with Cuba, and federal rent caps. In other words, just like every other DSA candidate, he would radically transform our country until, I would argue, it's not recognizable. Last week, he did join me on my radio show. I asked him about his radical agenda. Take a listen. To each American based on their needs, from each American based on their ability. Do you support that?
I think that's a fine concept.
Do you know who said that first? You don't, do you?
Please inform me.
I will inform you. A guy by the name of Karl Marx. All right, here to try and defend his, agenda, Florida Democratic congressional candidate Oliver Larkin. I do appreciate you coming on. I do. Let's pick up where we left off on my radio show. So I ask you, to each according to their need, from each American according to their ability. And I ask you, well, who said that? You did not know that it was Karl Marx. Have you had time to think about that?
I've been focusing on meeting the people of our district, and I'm not coming at this from a theoretical point of view. I'm coming at this race from a pragmatic point of view of what the American people and the people of South Florida need, and that is Medicare for all, that is universal child care, that is the policy proposals that you just articulated on your show. This is what people, working class people, Democrats, Republicans, and independents want to see reflected in our government's priorities.
Well, what gives you such confidence? Medicare for all, taxpayer-funded abortions, federal government, prescription drugs, no more electoral college, automatic same-day voter registration, et cetera, which I think is ridiculous because you need time to check it out. $25 minimum wage. Let me ask you the question this way. Out of every dollar these so-called evil rich people make, how much should they be able to keep in their pocket after they pay all the taxes you and your fellow socialist / Marxists would like to take? How much should they be able to keep?
I think if we went back to the mid-20th century top marginal tax rates that we saw under the FDR, Truman, and Eisenhower administrations, that would be a fine place to start, because that was the golden age of the American middle class when we were expanding the share of wealth and equity in the country. And
you want well, give me a number. What percentage of every dollar should every American be able to keep after they pay the government, local, state, federal?
It depends on the range of income that someone is making. For billionaires, I think that billionaires should be taxed out of existence. There's far too much money that is concentrated among the wealthy few.
You want to empower the government to take from the most creative providers, the most brilliant people in our country. Now, I don't know many billionaires that are self-made that are stupid. Do you? I don't know any.
Well, I think that in the case of someone like Elon Musk, he's taken billions of dollars in government subsidies and government handouts to enrich his further wealth, and he also rescued
astronauts that were abandoned by Joe Biden. I'm sure you're grateful for Elon's contribution there, right? I'm grateful for that.
Well, I mean, Elon Musk didn't even start his own company. He just bought it out, and this is, someone.
Okay, but I'm sure you are grateful that he rescued astronauts that Joe Biden abandoned in space 200 and some odd days.
Sean, I'm not really sure what you're speaking to. The International Space Station, I think
I'm talking about the guys that needed to be rescued, and Joe Biden did nothing, and Elon Musk rescued them. I'm sure you're grateful. All right, let me move on.
I think that we should have a national NASA system that is actually funded and not having Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk making their own rockets.
Somebody making $100,000 a year, how much of every dollar should they be able to keep?
I think that the tax rate on most middle-class Americans and
Oliver,
Sean,
give me a number.
It's not that easy.
How much out of every dollar should they be able to keep?
On cable news, but
100 grand. No, 100
I don't think
grand.
that we should be.
How much of every dollar should they be able to keep? It's a simple question. How much are you willing to let the government take? How much? Give us a number.
I want to see a return on our taxpayer investment. We pay into Medicare, yet we don't get to benefit from Medicare.
Somebody works hard, makes 100 grand a year. How much of every dollar should they keep?
I'm not interested in changing the tax rate on middle-class Americans, on people making 100 grand. I want to raise taxes.
Somebody that
on
makes
the billionaire class and on the
$500 grand a
corporations
year,
that are getting
$500,000 a year. How much out of every dollar should they be able to keep?
It is in proportional to the top marginal tax rate.
Give me a number.
Where if you're making
Oliver, give me a number. How much
Sean,
out of every dollar should they keep?
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. You're the one that wants, cradle to grave, womb to the tomb, Green New Deal.
What they put into the system.
Okay, so how much?
The Green New Deal.
In your head,
we should have public ownership of utilities.
The DSA people talk a lot about fairness. What is fair for a guy that makes $500,000 a year? Out of every dollar, how much should the government get? Answer the question. Why don't you stop playing games?
The person making $500,000, $1 million a year, they should pay the same rate in Social Security tax as the rest of the working class because there's a Social Security
How much
income
out of
cap.
every dollar should go to taxes? How much can they keep?
$184,500 a year.
Oliver, this is my last shot, and I'm going to say goodbye.
A billionaire makes into the.
I'm not talking. I asked you 500 grand a year. How much should go to the government out of every dollar? How much should they be able to keep? Answer the question. Be honest, for crying out loud. What's fair?
They should pay the same Social Security tax rate as working class Americans.
Goodbye.
We need to raise the taxable income cap on Social Security.
You don't want to tell your real opinion because you know you will look stupid. To each according to their need, from each according to their ability. That makes you a Marxist. You might want to learn history before you come on the show. Up next, more woke drama from the WNBA. Now, the attacks against Sophie Cunningham have turned physical. Well, we sent the Federalist Brianna Lyman out to ask New Yorkers about what they think about the WNBA's trans controversy, and it's getting even bigger than that. Straight ahead. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with Me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.